The Middle Ages were a period of profound religious fervor and spiritual quest in Europe. Among the most significant expressions of this piety was the pilgrimage, a journey undertaken for religious reasons. One of the most arduous and revered pilgrimages was the journey to the Holy Land, particularly to Jerusalem, the site of the Holy Sepulcher. Pilgrims embarked on their journey to the Holy Land driven by a variety of motivations. The primary impetus was religious devotion, the belief in the spiritual benefits of visiting sacred sites, seeking forgiveness for sins, and experiencing the physical presence of places where Jesus Christ lived and preached were paramount. Many pilgrims were also motivated by a desire to fulfill vows made in times of crisis or to express gratitude for divine intervention in their lives. Additionally, the pilgrimage was sometimes undertaken as a form of penance imposed by ecclesiastical authorities. The decision to embark on a pilgrimage was not taken lightly, given the considerable risks and hardships involved. Preparations included securing necessary permissions and blessings from religious and secular authorities. Pilgrims often donned distinctive attire such as a broad-brimmed hat, a long cloak, and a staff, which served both as a walking aid and a symbol of their pilgrimage status. They also carried a scrip, a small bag for provisions. Financial preparations were crucial as pilgrims needed funds for sustenance, lodging, and offerings at various shrines along the way. European pilgrims traveled along established routes, with the most popular ones passing through Italy and crossing into the eastern Mediterranean. Some took the overland route through the Balkans, while others embarked on sea voyages from Italian ports like Venice and Genoa to the Levant. Each route presented its unique challenges. The journey was fraught with physical hardships. Pilgrims walked long distances daily, often over rugged and unfamiliar terrain. They faced harsh weather conditions, from the scorching heat of the Mediterranean summer to the cold and rains of winter. Inadequate shelter and the scarcity of clean water and nutritious food further exacerbated their suffering. Many fell ill due to exhaustion, malnutrition, or diseases contracted along the way. Banditry was a significant threat. Pilgrims were often targeted by bandits who knew they carried money and valuable items. In some regions, the presence of hostile political forces added to the danger. The political instability of the Middle East during the Crusades and subsequent periods meant that pilgrims sometimes found themselves in the midst of conflicts. Despite these challenges, pilgrims established a routine that provided some structure to their arduous journey. They typically traveled in groups for safety and companionship. Days began early to maximize travel during daylight hours and avoid the midday heat. Pilgrims walked in silence, reflecting on their spiritual journey, reciting prayers and singing hymns. At night, pilgrims sought shelter in a variety of places. Monasteries, churches, and hospices offered refuge, providing a place to sleep and sometimes a meal. These religious establishments were integral to the pilgrimage network, established specifically to support travelers. In cities and larger towns, pilgrims could find inns, though these were often expensive and crowded. In more remote areas, pilgrims camped outdoors, enduring the elements. Pilgrimage was as much a spiritual journey as a physical one. Pilgrims adhered to strict religious practices, attending daily mass when possible and engaging in frequent prayer and confession. The journey itself was a form of penance, and many pilgrims imposed additional acts of self-mortification, such as fasting or walking barefoot, to deepen their spiritual experience. The pilgrimage to the Holy Land was not only a journey through geography, but also a passage through diverse cultures and societies. Pilgrims encountered different languages, customs, and religious practices along their route. Traveling through the Byzantine Empire, pilgrims witnessed the splendor of Orthodox Christianity, its churches and rituals. In the Islamic regions of the Middle East, they encountered Muslim society, whose advanced cities, architecture, and scholarship left a lasting impression. These interactions often led to a greater appreciation of different cultures and sometimes challenged pilgrims' preconceptions. Fellow pilgrims were a source of support and companionship. Bonds formed on the road were strong, forged by shared hardships and spiritual goals. Pilgrims came from various social backgrounds, and the journey often blurred the distinctions of rank and wealth, fostering a sense of equality and community. Arriving in the Holy Land was the culmination of months or even years of arduous travel. The primary destination was Jerusalem, particularly the Church of the Holy Sepulcher, believed to contain the sites of Jesus Christ's crucifixion, burial, and resurrection. Pilgrims also visited other significant locations such as Bethlehem, Nazareth, and the River Jordan. The experience of reaching these sacred sites was profoundly moving. Pilgrims engaged in rituals such as kissing the ground, prostrating themselves, and leaving offerings. Many wrote accounts of their experiences, detailing the spiritual fulfillment and sense of divine presence they felt. The Holy Land's sacred geography transformed abstract faith into tangible reality, deepening their religious convictions. The return journey was often less arduous as pilgrims had fulfilled their spiritual objectives and could travel more at ease. Many brought back souvenirs such as relics, holy water, and crosses, which served as tangible reminders of their journey and as evidence of their devotion. Returning pilgrims were often celebrated in their communities, and their stories inspired others to undertake similar journeys. The impact of pilgrimage to the Holy Land extended beyond individual spiritual growth. It had significant cultural, social, and economic effects on European society. Pilgrims acted as conduits of cultural exchange, bringing back knowledge, ideas, and artifacts from the regions they visited. They introduced European society to new foods, fabrics, and artistic styles, contributing to the broader cultural development. The practice of pilgrimage strengthened the Church's influence. The network of hospices and monasteries along pilgrimage routes expanded the Church's reach and reinforced its role as a provider of care and hospitality. Economically, pilgrimage routes stimulated trade and commerce. Towns and cities along the way benefited from the influx of pilgrims, leading to the growth of markets, inns, and other services catering to travelers. The life of a European pilgrim walking to the Holy Land was marked by a profound blend of physical endurance and spiritual quest. Motivated by deep religious devotion, pilgrims faced numerous hardships, but also experienced rich cultural interactions and spiritual fulfillment. Their journeys had lasting impacts on both their personal lives and broader European society, fostering cultural exchange, economic growth, and strengthening religious institutions. Through their dedication and perseverance, medieval pilgrims left a legacy that continues to inspire and fascinate to this day.